What up, well, DJ on the mic. What, coming in with a standard red high deck profile because it's EX5, baby. And we gotta respect the meta because the meta be going hella wide, bringing out cards by card effects. But you know what? Red Hybrid is sitting well, staying in its lane and doing what it does best and punch for face. So in this video, go over the tech strats. You already know the good stuff. So if this is a video for you, then stick around and enjoy. And if you're new to the channel and like what you see, make sure you subscribe and turn the notification bell because I do videos on the reg. We are pushing towards the 1K, guys. I'm plugging in over time, so really do me a solid and definitely subscribe and do not miss out on a thing. Enough of the plugs, let's get onto the sauce. So going on with the eggs, standard 4, gonna be the Ukkomon, does not change whatsoever. BT14 Ukkomon is just best in slot because you're able to draw one when you're checking the opponent's security. Absolute worth. One caveat though, if it is an option and it kills you, you will not get the draw, but besides that, you are absolutely laughing. So 4 for sure, you don't need any more. Rocking on now to the rookies. Rookies, we do run a solid 14. The reason why we run 14 is because Red Hybrid usually leans more to the kind of champion kind of doing the damage and so forth. So it's pretty pivotal that you do have some rookies that you can actually just kind of quickly evo. And we do run that package in here as well. So obviously rookies, hella important. So starting off with obviously the mandatory mon is going to be your BT7 Flame Mon. Honestly, that inheritable is just so much worth. You want to be seeing this. Honestly, starting hand for sure. Its home play is also good. Good searcher in order for you to get your hybrid and your Takuya. We don't run the Susan in this because, I mean, we've not had a decent Susan in forever. So hopefully Bandai will do us a solid and actually have a Susan that's actually going to be playable. But realistically, you do want to be running this at 4 for sure. Then we go in with the 4 BT12 Flame Mon. This is just fantastic. Giving you additional DP for you just even up your line is solid, and then it's on play, enable you to essentially get rid of your cards from your hand, and then you're able to then draw 2, which is once again solid. So realistically, you want to be getting your hybrids in your trash in order for you to essentially build up to do your warp Takuya plays as standard. And I realize that I can see a cheeky Flame Mon who wants to get in early and I'm gonna have to then throw him out, which is going to be the BT4 Flame Mon rocking at 2. I still value this Flame Mon because it enables you to net 2 cards, which is most probable in this deck because, you know, grabbing a hybrid and also grabbing a red tamer, I mean, it's pretty much what we do. So we still do run this bad boy at 2. Really, really solid. So running on with obviously the standard text that are a bit out of archetype is going to be 2 Ukkomon. We had to lower it down a little bit because once again we have to respect the meta here, guys. We do have to respect the meta because there is a lot of go wide decks, and granted we have options that can stop card by card effects, but if we just have a nice solid cheeky 2 Ukkomon at 2, which obviously we can just throw out and stop plays from happening, is always the worth. Red Hybrid pretty much does amazing stuff as it by itself. This just is obviously just giving that extra speed, which is fine. And then obviously now that we do have the Ukkomon, it just means that we can not fully rely on having the Crimson Blaze. In that sense, we can just throw down this for free, and then the opponent has to out it in that sense. And there's a lot of go wide decks. Ukkomon, Anubismon, D Brigade. You know, it's all very go wide, summon cards from card effects and so forth. So this is the reason why I've had to lower the Ukkomon down to 2, just to increase the Ukkomon to 2 as well. I didn't want to kind of lower any like hybrids because then it's ruining that consistency, and I find that this just runs silky smooth right there. So switch out off archetype with off archetype, it's not really any form of detriment right there. So that concludes for the rookies, a solid 14. So going over to champions have not changed that much at all. We still run the BT12 Agumon, absolutely amazing ult art right here, one of my favorites. This Agumon is just once again great, probably one of the best Agumon freaking printed to date. Once again, it has the same inheritable as the BT7 Flame Mon that is able to obviously get us our Tamers from our hands, when deleted. So obviously if we've climbed up further, or even on top of with a Burning Greymon, effectively we can add a lot of board presence while still actually just swinging at the opponent. But if this was going to die, this also has a non-deletion that you're able to play one Flamemon suspended from your hand without paying its cost, which once again is great. One thing to note there, obviously, if you do have got someone out, this will not obviously trigger, because you know you're summoning the card by card effect, and got someone would actually block that because it is an all turns players, not just the opponent can't play cards by card effect. So obviously be vigilant on that front, which I'm very sure that you guys will. So then we do run the BT12 Burning Grey, which honestly I can't wait for that freaking Ultimate Cup alt art because it looks beautiful. This right here, honestly, a facilitator for ending games pretty quickly. If you can get this on top of your BT7 Takuya, you are cooking, because you can literally get that additional secure check. So it's obviously swinging for 2. Obviously, if you have an Atomic Inferno, swinging for 3 checks, which is going to be adding up to 13k. Very, very big damage right there. So this right here is such a facilitator for very early aggression. So that's why you do want to be seeing that relatively early, and especially if you do have your Tamers out on field. And then lastly, we do run the BT7 Burning. This obviously is good for obviously your board kind of clearing, because you're able to delete a 4k or less Digimon if you've either on top of a Tamer or a red hybrid. So really, really good stuff right here. And also the benefit of this, that it can evo on top of either, versus this one can only evo on top of an Agumon and vice versa. So really, once again, solid champion lineup. Once again, design wise, they really did do well with red hybrid on this one, and I'm kind of hoping that blue hybrid kind of gets a bit of like a revamp and kind of match the same kind of energy that red hybrid has got, because I know a lot of people do like blue hybrid, but let's keep on let's keep it to the red hybrid hype. That's what this video is all about. So going on to the ultimates, we do run 5, and that's going to be your standard BT7 Aldemon. By God, I wish this had the Ultimate Cup alternate art, because this is by far best in slot. BT12, I just don't know where I would apply that application, to be honest. But this is basically going to be your delicate plan on legs. Also as well, really good in terms of aggression if you've either on top of a Tamer, because you can reduce the Digivolution costs by 2, which is pretty huge. So realistically, you can comfortably go up your line if you do have a memory seller out. Because ultimately, if you're on top of a Tamer, it's going to cost you 2 to go into your champion, and costs you 1 to go into Aldemon, which is always the value right there. And then you're swinging for very big damage. Absolutely glorious. And then lastly, nice little tech spot. It's still going to be the Metal Greymon. I still value this, just because it just kind of keeps the opponent on the toes. Also, just throwing it down for 4 is always great there too. You cannot complain on that. And just having the ability just to delete a 6k body is glorious right there. So that concludes there for the ultimates. A nice solid 5. Now going over to the megas. The megas, once again, never change. It's like this Emperor Grey is just brilliant. It just does what it needs to be doing. It's got aggression, it's got tempo, it's got recursion. It's just great. It's just great. Like, honestly, I don't know how Bandai's going to top it. Don't know how Bandai's going to top it if we do ever get another Emperor Greymon. BT7 Emperor Grey is nice. It is within archetype. But at the moment, I just don't... I just don't feel like I need to go into it. Like, if I have it, I'm like... It's very niche, and that's why I've not actually included it in this list. There is a validation that it could probably go in, so it is completely up to you. I'm not telling you how to play Red Hybrid, but at the moment, I just feel like your main kind of focus in this particular format is going pretty fast with your champions to maybe going into your ultimate here and there, and then just using this as more when you've kind of got stuff built in trash and Evo on top of your Takuya, just because you just get massive tempo from doing that. Its additional secure attack is just once again great, but one thing you do need to note though, if you face like Yellow Vaccine, that's when it gets a little bit tricky, because kind of even into this doesn't really gain you that much value at all. You can't trigger you when digivolving. The only thing you can do is your when on your deletion. So definitely be vigilant on that. Yellow vaccine is a bit of a menace and can stop a lot of decks from doing a lot of things. And then lastly, we do run the Omnimon there, cheeky at 1. Very solid card right here. Yeah, you already know. Blitz for games. We love to blitz in people's faces, as Mario likes to say, and I completely agree with him. So that concludes there for the Megas. A nice solid 5. Then going on to the options. So options, this once again hasn't necessarily changed that much. We still run 4 Atomic Infernos. I know a lot of people do run 3 Atomic Infernos, a nice balance, and yeah, 3's absolutely fine. Like, I have no problem with 3. I do feel like what I like about having 4 is, once again, having it in my security, massive. If you put this in security, it's just, oh my god, the opponent's face just looks at you like you are just gonna absolutely beat through my ends if you absolutely high roll. And that's what sometimes, like, how Red Ivy just kind of wins. It is like the infamous burger flip. Blam! Oh yeah, you just propped off and made the situation worse. I'm gonna go in there and absolutely clap cheeks. Also as well, it really just adds a lot of pressure in regards to certain card combinations and makes the opponent think about what they have to do. Prime example, if you have the BT12 Takuya, and then obviously you've evolved into a champion and you put an Atomic Inferno down and they have a blocker out, it's like they're in a bit of a predicament there, because effectively you got to swing, and if they block and you're swinging over them, then they're going to die, and then I gain 3 memory. If they let the check go through off of the BT12 Takuya, I'm literally getting 2 memory back. So I'm just getting absolute value, whatever they do. Right there. So this is why I do like Atomic Inferno for that instance, is that it makes the player really have to think of, like, or the opponent have to think, how do I want to take this? Do I want to take it to the face, or do I want to let my security basically take it and possibly put you in a very lethal position, which is never great. Then we still run the 2 Graph Crush, not full drip still. I'm sorry, I'm still waiting for those event pack 5s to get down lower. Graph Crush is just Graph Crush. It really comes clutch in regards to kind of adding that tempo. Once again, the opponent never really sees it coming or tends to forget. Can really help just finish games, which is what we are after. And then lastly, we do run the 2 Crimson Blazers. I think 2's just nice and comfortable because we do run the Gotsumon. Effectively, we've got 4 cards that are stopping cards made by card effects. I don't entirely like relying on Crimson Blaze, more because I feel like I have to preempt what they're going to do. And if they've not got the ideal board state for this to be less than 6, I'm giving them 6, and that's still a lot of memory for them to do something with, versus like I got someone I can just throw that out, and what that's now done is making them think, how can I actually get rid of this Mon with possibly 3 memory or 2 memory, depending on what my memory I was on before I played Gotsumon, to not let me gain too much momentum, because realistically I've got another body that I can swing at that point, where if I play Crimson Blaze, the only thing I've done is stop them from playing cards by card effects, but they can still do other stuff right there, and can still swing at me and so forth. So this is why I do like just having the 2 Crimson Blades. I think it's just a nice balance, proccing off insecurity. There's always guttering for the opponents, but you know, for me, I'm absolutely laughing. So that concludes there for the options. Solid 8. Then lastly, Tamers. You probably guessed what I'm running here Tamer wise, and if you run any less, you're absolutely crazy. BT7 Takuya at 4, BT12 Takuya at 4. These once again just amazing all round. This once again on top of your BT12 Burning Grey, it's just value, just additional security check. Is just sexy, absolutely sexy. The warp mechanic, perfect, is exactly what you want right there. You're laughing with it. This is solid for obviously your memory setter. The fact that you can actually just play it from your hand off of your Flamemon and your Aggunimon inheritable is just mad value. On top of that, if you're even on top of it, then you're able to gain 2 memory if you've managed to check a the opponent's security, which is once again really good, because if you have more than 2 Tamers out, effectively you can, you know, get an extra swinging possibly. Combo that up obviously with your Graph Crush, you can just build up more memory to do more plays and so forth. So these 2 Tamers are just banging, absolutely banging. Like I've said in previous videos, if they printed another security, I just don't know what it would do at that point. Give Swarm raid and piercing, I just don't know. But regardless, these are the best in slot and the only ones in slot. But that is it, guys, for the Red Hybrid profile for EX5 format. Let me know what you think in the comments. But guys, stay safe, stay fly, and I'll catch you next one. Digidread off the mic.